Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time you're watching this. Thanks for watching Common Sense Talks. Really appreciate it. So, I want to just jump right into it. And I really want to talk about, what's going on with the coronavirus, the stimulus package, Democrats, Donald Trump in the last 3 years. It's a lot to go over, but I'm just going to since it's my first political video, I want to go over what's been going on like the last 3 years from, let's say, the 2016 election till now, so actually 4 years, and talk about the coronavirus, the stimulus bill, and what's going on. So, with that said, let's get right into it. Nancy Pelosi. Oh my God, don't get me started. This crazy lady hung up the stimulus bill to try to get, and she did, get a bunch of pork rammed in there for Democrats. Democrats always say they're for the poor person, right? Well, if they really were for the poor person, they would have gotten us a bigger check. They would have made sure that more money came to the American people and less money went to things like, see, the things Democrats and Republicans would argue about, okay, Republicans would say, well, businesses have to pay their rent, their bills, this and that. And then what we want to do is give businesses money so they can pay their rent and bills, but then they can also pay their employees. So the idea here is that we should be kind of getting a double check. So we should be getting a check from the government, and then we should be getting taken care of by some of our, the businesses we work for. The problem with that is not every business is going to be able to do that. Not every business is going to be solvent enough. Not every business is going to choose to use the money the same way. And not every business has, that many employees. So for the small businesses, under 500 employees, they have that little loan that you can apply. So 10,000, but let's say you got 300 or 100 or 50 employees. What's a $10,000 loan going to do for your business? Nothing. So how are you going to help out those 500 or less than 500 employees? How are you going to pay their salary with just 10 grand? You're not. And then even if you did qualify for a bigger chunk, let's say 100 grand or million, whatever, who's to say as the owner of that business that you're going to pay your employees and not use that money to take care of let's say the debt that business owes? So there's a lot of loopholes. The money, in my opinion, should have been heavily directed at the American people first, with then the leftover going to like businesses and stuff, schools, airlines, yada yada, right? But the Democrats made sure millions and millions and millions got in for stupid reasons, like I'm talking dumb stuff. Go read the bill, go check out any other video. There's just a dime a dozen. And you know what? I have to say this. That Republican that held up the bill, Massie, he's a hero. Everybody's mad at him. All he wanted to do was make sure there was a formal vote so these bums in Congress would do their job for one. And if McDonald's workers and fast food workers and restaurant workers still got to work during this pandemic and push food out for everybody, and the people at Walmart and Food for Less and all that got to get you your toilet paper and water, put their lives at risk, and the doctors and the nurses in the hospitals got to put their lives at risk, then you pinche cabrons in Congress definitely should have been able to come down for a day to vote on a very important bill and stamp your name on it, especially when a year or two goes down the road and we find out what was really in that bill. And we find out, well, how the heck did we push through a $2 trillion bill when we were almost 30 trillion in debt? And then, well, you'll start to learn and find out more about, wait a minute, there was like a $4 trillion stimulus pushed through before that nobody even knows about. There was like a Wall Street stimulus. And then they're talking about another stimulus afterward. I mean, we can't just keep printing money out of thin air. Inflation, right? Where we really screwed up and went wrong is where we removed the gold standard, all right? Now our money, it used to have gold or silver, which was pretty much a finite set amount. It does go up and down, but that kept our finances in check. We couldn't have too much money because we had to have enough gold or silver, right? Now you take away the gold or silver, now you can just print money out of thin air. Hyperinflation. All right. And they try to tie it to the oil, but that means, with the petrodollar, that means that places like Iran, Russia, Iraq, Kuwait, Libya, they can all screw with our economy by messing with the oil prices, right? And so it's a complicated situation, but the point is that coronavirus bill is a giant mess, and all we're going to get out of it is $1,200. If you have some kids, maybe 2 grand at most. This is very troubling times. We all have bills. We have car payments, insurance, rent, cell phone, water, sewer, and garbage, groceries. We have all these things that we have to spend money on, and we don't have any money coming in. While Congress makes what, 170, 200,000 a year in minimum. What do they got to worry about? And then get this: the coronavirus package, it included a pay raise for Congress. You really think those jerks, whether you're Republican or Democrat, deserve a pay raise? All right. I also want to talk about the amount of money that we're going to receive from the coronavirus versus how much our bills are. All right. So we're only going to be seeing 1,200, maybe 2,000, 2,200 at most. And that's supposed to cover, our bills during this crisis. Now, we're looking at potentially being out of work for up to, a month to two, maybe even longer, 3 or 4. A lot of places are closed indefinitely. And so when things do back up, they're not going to just be able to pick up back up to that same level. For example, follow me here. Say a restaurant had a nice sized restaurant had 60 staff and they were just really busy doing great. Well, now they're shut down. Let's say there's skeleton crew, they're doing those to go orders, they have just barely a cook, a helper, the manager, and maybe the best waiter or two, running orders and doing stuff, and a dishwasher, someone cheap in the back, right? So they're running on a skeleton crew, but they've had to lay off 50 employees. Now everything resets, turns back on finally. Do you think they're going to be able to rehire those same 50 employees back, and that the business is going to come back to that level? Because what's going to happen is Americans are going to be assessing, what bills they have, debt stacked up. We had months and months with no income. Some of us barely make any money, 1,500, 2 grand, whatever, right? Some of us make 5 or 6 grand a month, but don't, that's still not like rich. So, let's say we're at 5, 6, 7,000 a month. We're still not making 100 grand a year, but we're not going to get barely anything from that coronavirus. If we're not working, people that make 5, 6, 7,000 a month have $3,000, $4,000 a month in bills, right? The more you make, the more you spend. That's pretty much the rule of thumb. So these people, if you don't have a huge nest egg, you're pretty much screwed, or you're going to be screwed if things don't pick back up really quickly. Right now, let's look at. I heard, I'm not 100% sure, but I heard Canada is doing 2,000 a month for 4 months. So that's like 8,000 each person's going to get, and it's pretty crazy. So you look at the stimulus bill, right? And that Pelosi, first of all, they held it up. When we really need the money ASAP, the Democrats held it up so they could put a bunch of pork in there, like money for the Kennedy Foundation and all this other stupid stuff that had nothing to do with you and I. And then, so one of the other things is if we looked at it a piece of pie, right, as 100%, the whole 2 trillion, right? Well, our sliver is what, only 500 and something billion. It's like what, 1/8 of the total, or 1/4 of it, or whatever it is. Sorry, my math bad. While I'm trying to talk to you guys right now, I'm doing this all off the head. So, but anyways, you get the point, right? Every single one of them bums should get voted out. Anything better than what we got now. We need fresh ideas. We need new people in government. These cronies they're the problem. These cronies in the House and Congress who serve 20, 30, 40 years. Now, how do these people go from normal Joes and off of only $150,000, $100,000 salary, how do they become multi-millionaires, billionaires? Because the insider trading, kickbacks, all kinds of dirty stuff. These politicians are nothing but crooks, and especially the Democrats. See, the Republicans, they are the good old boy network. They're for the rich. They're for the successful. They're for the businesses, right? Which make the world go round. Democrats, don't let them lie to you. They're for the rich. They're for themselves. See, there's two different types. There's a type of world where people work hard, bust their ass, and use capitalism to succeed. And in that world, though, there will be winners and there will be losers. And there's going to be a lot of losers. There's going to be people that can't make it, right? And that isn't a perfect scenario either. But then you have the utopia fake socialistic Democrat utopia where you would have the rich ruling class, almost like kings and queens, which would be your Democrats, right? The rulers, the president, the Congress, and the House. That everybody else, there would be no middle class. There would be no capitalism. There would be no winners and losers. Everybody else will be losers. The idea is, see, there's an old saying. I go Google it or look it up, but a slave that is aware that he's a slave will do everything, anything he can or she can to get free, to get freedom. They will die. But if you're a slave and you don't realize you're a slave, you'll happily go about your life living like you are, perfectly content, and you will never question a thing because you don't see the chain. And so the idea is that's like skating. You know, those people that they go to school and they try really hard to get the A's. Then you got people that could get A's, but they just decide to skate by with C's because they don't want to try hard. Now, so in conclusion, we have Democrats who have the last few years been obstructing the president every step of the way to help the economy, to secure our borders, to bring production back with his tariffs and all that. Everything he's been doing has been setting up to help America. And the whole time, the Democrats have been calling him racist, xenophobe, bad man, orange man bad, and just have been attacking him. And even when he succeeds, they can't give him any credit. They'll say, he succeeded, but, and then just trash him. And almost everything he's done has been correct and then for the betterment of the American people. Now, try to remember, I'm not this big Trump woohoo supporter. I'm an independent. I see things from both sides. And I think, like McCain, I hated McCain. All right, Bush, I don't like that family. I don't like the Bush family, McCain's, the war hawks, the old GOP Republicans, right? You can miss me with all that. I'm not a Republican. All right, but the Nancy Pelosi's, the Chuck Schumers, the Barack Obamas, I ain't no Democrat either. So I try to think critically, use my mind, see the facts, and make decisions for myself, and I hope you do too. Now, don't take any of this myself, like LeVar Burton said, don't take my word for it, read it yourself. Go out there, find the facts, and investigate yourself. Critically think. Don't trust the Republicans or the Democrats. Don't trust this site or that site. Try to just trust what you can see and intake with your own eyes and ears. Process that information and try to think critically. And if you do so, I don't understand. At this point in time, you could be a legit full-on Democrat. I mean, I understand, I guess, but not really. Because what a Republican is now, or middle of the road, that was a Democrat 10, 15 years ago. We're for medical marijuana, marijuana legalization, gay marriage, immigration reform, jail reform. Heck yeah, all for all of that. Helping out people helping out our assistance programs, our veterans, our homeless, the environment. I'm for all that stuff, but I don't believe we should wreck our economy, shut down all the coal plants, shut down all the gas stations, and Greta Thunberg it and try to like go 100% renewable within X amount of time. Because guess what? Germany did it and they failed. So, hope you guys appreciate my video. Long-winded, got a lot to say, but excited to bring you guys some political content. Hope you guys enjoy. Smash that like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.